This is Guru Charan Das Adapur, lecturer in marketing management, Government City College, Nayapur, Hyderabad, Autonomous. Today we are going to discuss about personality. Okay, for the study of human behavior, we have to understand the individual differences. As we have explained in the previous chapter, individual differences are due to both physiological and psychological factors. Analysis of psychological factor traits is the first step in understanding human behavior because physiological factors may be one of the variables affecting the psychological factor. For example, physiological factors may be one of the variable affecting personality of a person. Since the personality of a person affects his behavior, we can say that physiological factor is also affecting the behavior. Thus, the basic physiological factors naturally become important in analyzing human behavior. Right? And personality is one of the major psychological factors affecting the human behavior. Personality is a very commonly used word. Generally, we say what kind of personality, he is possessing. Okay, what type of person is, that is nothing but what kind of personality. The word is generally used whenever we talk about a person's job prospects, achievements, marriage, and other similar occasions. Okay, here we are considering the concept of personality in a very narrow sense as it implies person's smartness, charm, dress sense, popularity, physical attractiveness, right? Way of speaking also we sometimes to express the personality of a person, you see, but to understand and predict the individual behavior is an organization. This narrow view of the term personality is not enough. We will have to look at the aggregate all that is greater than the sum of parts. That's why we need to know about the meaning and definition of personality. First, we will see the meaning. The term personality has been derived from the Latin term persona, which means to speak through, or we can say a guise that were worn by. For example, the Latin word denotes the masks worn by actors in ancient Greece and Rome. Therefore, a very common meaning of the term personality is the role which the person displays to the public. Personality is a very frequently used word, but still there is no consensus about its meaning. There is a great deal of controversy about the meaning of the word personality. A few definitions of personality we'll see now. Okay, that is according to Gordon Allport, personality is a dynamic organization within the individuals of those psychological systems that determine his unique adjustment to his environment. Okay, and according to Floyd L. Rich, personality includes external appearance and behavior, inner awareness of self as a permanent organizing force, and the particular pattern or organization of measurable traits, both inner and outer. According to Fred Luthans, personality means how a person affects others and how he understands and views himself, as well as the pattern of inner and outer measurable traits and the person situation interaction. According to Salvatore Maddi, personality is a stable set of characteristics and tendencies that determine those commonalities and differences in the psychological behavior, that is, thoughts, feelings, and actions of the people that have continuity in time and that may not be easily understood as a sole result of the social and biological pressures of the moment. Right? In psychology, personality is interpreted in different ways, by different theories. For example, Carl Rogers views personality in terms of self, an organized, permanent, subjectively perceived entity that is at the heart of all our experiences. Freud described the structure of personality as composed of three elements: the id, ego, and superego. In addition, the social learning aspects of personality are also emphasized by some theorists. Taking all the aspects together, personality represents the sum total of several attributes which manifest themselves in an individual. The ability of the individual to organize and integrate all the qualities so as to give meaning to life, and other uniqueness of the situation which influences the behavior of an individual. Right now, we see the characteristics of personality. Okay, some of the fundamental characteristics of personality are consistency. One, there is generally a recognizable order and regularity to behaviors. Essentially, people act in the same ways or similar ways in a variety of situations. Right? And the second is psychological and physiological. Personality is a psychological construct, but research suggests that it is also influenced by biological process and needs. Right? Another trait of personality, character of personalities impact behaviors and actions. Personality does not just influence how we move and respond in our environment, it also causes us to act in certain ways. And another character is multiple expressions. Personality is displayed in more than just behavior. It can also be seen in our thoughts, feelings, close relationships, and other social interactions. Right? Now we will see the determinants of personality. What are the determinants? Now that we have understood the meaning of personality, the next question is what determinants go into the development of personality? Was the individual born with the personality, or was it developed afterwards as a result of his interaction with the environment? Generally, the consensus is the heredity and the environment jointly affect the individual's personality development. The factors affecting personality development are, we'll see here. Okay, impact of the factors, that is biological factors. First we'll discuss. What are biological factors? Consist of heredity, brain, biofeedback, physical features. Okay, we'll discuss in detail each and every topic. That is, first we'll discuss heredity. The concept that heredity is a determinant of personality is embedded in our minds. In our day-to-day life, so many times we use the term like father, like son, as like mother, like daughter. When we use these terms, we generally refer to the traits like physique, eye color, hair color, height, temperament, energy level, intelligence, reflexes, etc. However, the importance of heredity varies from one personality trait to another. For example, heredity is generally more important in determining a person's temperament than his values and ideas. Right? Now, according to S.P. Robbins, the heredity approach argues that the ultimate explanation of an individual's personality is the molecular structure of genes located in the chromosomes. Okay, as you know, as you have studied, all of you have studied at your school level, that every human being possesses 22 pairs of chromosomes. Okay, and one chromosome, sex chromosomes, we call them as X and Y. Totally 23 pairs of chromosomes are present in human beings. Through these chromosomes, the traits of the parents. Okay, the personality of the parent, okay, inherited into the siblings. Right, three different streams of research lend some credibility to the argument that heredity plays an important part in determining an individual's personality. The first looks at generic underpinnings, okay, of human behavior and temperament among your children. The second addresses the study of twins who were separated at birth, and the third examines the consistency in job satisfaction over time and cross situations. Okay. Another biological factor that determines the personality is brain. Brain is the second biological approach to determine personality. It plays an important role in determining personality. Electrical stimulation of the brain, we call it as ESB, and split brain psychology results indicates that a better understanding of human personality and behavior might come from a closer study of the brain. The definite areas of the human brain are associated with pain and pleasure. Research study shows that these things are true. And third is biofeedback. It is the third biological approach to determine personality. Physiologists and psychologists felt that biological functions like brain wave patterns, gastric and hormonal secretions, and fluctuations in blood pressure and skin temperature were beyond conscious control. Recent research shows that these functions can be consciously controlled through biofeedback techniques. For this purpose, individual can learn the internal rhythms of a particular body process through electronic signals, and that are feedback from equipment which is wired to the body. Generally, if you see ECG electrocardiography, you will find some wires connected from your body to know your function of your heart. In this process, the person can learn to control the body process through questions. It is one of the interesting topics to do future research work in personality, right? And the another biological factor we see is physical features. Physical features of an individual are an important ingredient of the personality of the person. These focus on an individual person's external appearance, which also determines the personality. Physical features include, example, tall or short, fat or skinny, black or white. Okay, these physical features will influence the personal effect on other, and also affect self-concept of individual. Recent research studies show that this feature definitely influence the individual's personality in an organization. Now we'll discuss environmental factors. If all personality traits are determined by heredity, they would be fixed at birth and would not be changed throughout the life. But this is not so. The personality traits are not completely dictated by heredity. Environment also plays a very important role in the development of personality of a person. Environment comprises of culture, family, social, and situational factors. Right? And culture, we will discuss under environmental factors, we will discuss the culture. According to Hobel, culture is the sum total of learned behavior, traits which are manifested and shared by the members of the society. It is a unique system of perceptions, beliefs, values, norms, patterns of behavior, and a code of conduct that influences the behavior of individuals in a given society. Culture establishes norms, attitudes, and values that are passed along from generations to generation and create consistencies over time. Every culture expects and trains its members to behave in uh, in a particular way, right? Although culture has significant influence on personality development, a linear relationship cannot be established between culture and personality due to a few reasons. That is, individuals within the same culture can differ in their behavior and personality formats because of the existence of several subsystems within the same culture. Second, the workers are not influenced by the same culture as managers are. Moreover, skilled workers have different behavior patterns than unskilled workers. And next, management must organize and understand these differences while dealing with the people in the organization. Second is family. One of the very important determinants of the personality of a person is his family, immediate family. Families influence the behavior of a person, especially in the early stages. The nature of such influence will depend upon the few factors. What is there? We will see socio-economic level of the family size, birth order, race, religion, parents' educational level, geographic location. To elaborate, a person brought up in a rich and prestigious family has a different personality as compared to the people who belong to poor family. The family sizes also affect the behavior of a child. The personality of a single child is different from the personality of a person who is brought up in a family of more than two siblings. Similarly, the personality of a person brought up in a nuclear family will be different from that of a person brought up in a joint family. Studies have also shown the firstborn child are more responsible, rational, independent, and ambitious, and more sensitive to social acceptance. Empirical evidence also suggests that the home and family environment created by the mother and the father, as well as their own behavior, is highly influential on personality development of the child. Right? Another is social. Socialization is a process by which an infant acquires an enormous wide range of behavioral potentialities. They are open to him at birth, those behavior patterns that are customary and acceptable to the family and social groups. Initially, socialization starts with the contact of the infant with the mother. When he grows up, contacts with other members of the family and social groups influence his socialization process. Right? Another is situational. Apart from the above factors, situational factors also play a very important role in determining the personality of a person. Okay, Migram's research study indicates very powerful role the situation may play in the human personality. Okay, on the basis of his research studies, he states that a situation exerts an important pressure on the individual. It exercises constraints and may provide push in certain circumstances. It is not so much the kind of person a man is, the kind of situation in which he is placed that determines his actions. That is why it is often said that life is collection of experiences. Every individual goes through different type of experiences and events in his life. Some of the events and experiences can serve as important determinants of his personality. A trauma suffered by a person in the childhood can sometimes change the structure of his own personality. Following that can change his own personality. Right? In addition, to this, a certain incidents or situations reveal a specific aspect of personality of a person that was so far hidden. For example, a very weak and coward person may spontaneously perform heroic action. Heroic action in saving someone's life without regard to his own safety. The role of psychiatrists in personality shaping and changing is wide known from the preceding discussion of the determinant of personality. It is clear that personality is a complex concept that reflects many influences both from within and outside of the individual. Development, okay, of personality, or we can state the same in the name of theories of personality. After understanding the determinants of human personality, okay, the next step is to identify specific physiological and psychological states that occur in the development of human personality. This stage approach has been theoretical in nature. Many psychologists have contributed to the stage approach. The prominent among them include Freud, Erikson, Alfred Adler, Carl Jung, Levinson. These stages and the theories on which these are based on explained in detail. Right, we will see the theories of personality explained by different persons. One is Freud's stages of psychoanalytical theory. Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytical theory of personality has been based primarily on his concept of unconscious nature of personality. It is based on the notion that man is motivated more by unseen forces than by conscious or rational thoughts. Freud noted that his patient's behavior could not always be consciously explained. It was a clinical finding which led him to conclude that a major force which motivates a human being in his unconscious framework. Features of psychoanalytical theory are psychoanalytical theory as devised by Freud attempts to explain personality on the basis of unconscious mental forces. According to Freud, human mind is like an iceberg consisting of different stages of consciousness. At the deepest part of the iceberg lies the unconscious level, which consists of violent motives, immoral urges, fear, irrational wishes, selfish needs, unacceptable sexual desires, shameful experiences. At the upper level, that is in the middle of the iceberg, lies the preconscious level, which consists of memories and stored knowledge. At the tip of the iceberg lies the conscious level, which consists of thoughts and perceptions. The main features of the theory are level of consciousness. Human beings are unaware of some aspects of theory, mental states. Various levels of consciousness are consciousness, unconsciousness. What we are aware of, preconscious memories are conscious, that can be recalled. Unconscious, vicious feelings, impulses that lie beyond our awareness. Freud argued that personality is made up of multiple structures, some of which are unconscious. Freud argued develops defense mechanism to protect against anxiety. Whenever there is an imbalance in the relationship among these forces, it can be dealt through. Coping strategies, defense mechanism. Defense mechanisms refers to unconscious mental process that protect the conscious person from developing anxiety. They can be sublimation. The person channels energy from unacceptable impulses to create socially acceptable accomplishments, what we call it as sublimation. Denial, person refuses to recognize reality. Projection, person attributes their own unacceptable impulses to others. Repression, anxiety evoking thoughts are pushed into the unconscious. Rationalization, substituting socially acceptable reasons. Intellectualization, ignoring the emotional aspects of painful experience by focusing on abstract thoughts, words, or ideas. Reaction formation, refusing to acknowledge unacceptable urges, thoughts or feelings by exaggerating the opposite state. Regression, responding to a threatening situation in a way appropriate to an earlier age or level of development. displacement, substituting a less threatening object for the original object of impulse. Okay, the framework includes three conflicting psychological concepts, that is id, ego, and superego. Their brief description is also given here. Yeah, I'll explain here. The that is the id. It is the foundation of unconscious behavior and is the base of libido drives. In simple words, it is the source of psychic energy and seeks immediate satisfaction of biological or instinctual needs. These needs include sexual pleasure and other biological pressures. It has animalistic instinct of aggression, power, and domination. It demands immediate pleasure at whatever cost. As an individual matures, he learns to control the id, but even then, it remains a drive force throughout the life and an important source of thinking and behavior. Next, the ego. The ego is associated with the realities of life, just as the id is the consciousness part of human personality. Ego is the conscious and logical part because it is concerned about the realities of external environment. The ego of a person keeps the id in check whenever it demands immediate pleasure. With its logic and intellect, ego controls the ego so that the pleasure unconsciously. Okay, so the pleasure unconsciously demanded by the human being are granted at an appropriate time and place and in an appropriate manner. Next, the superego. The superego is the higher level force to restrain the id and is described as the conscious of a person. The superego represents the norms of individual, his family, and the society, and is an ethical constraint on the behavior. The conscious of a person is continuously telling him what is the right and what is wrong. A person may be aware of the working of the superego because conscious is developed by the cultural values inculcated in a person by the norms of the society. All these three elements are interrelated. In order to create a normal personality, there must be a proper balance in the relationship among these forces. For example, if the superego is overdeveloped, a man will become very impractical and irrational. He will feel guilt over trivial matters. Following, he will guilt over trivial matters. Such a person cannot exist in the modern life. On the other hand, an underdeveloped superego will let the id urges loose, which would make a man highly immoral or with very few morals. Then there will not be much difference between the man and the animals. Therefore, there must be a proper balance between these three forces. Contribution of Freud we will see. First, the personality and psychotherapy theory. What the contribution of the Freud is? First is personality, and he has made a contributed to psychotherapy theory. Importance of early childhood experience. Concept of unconsciousness. That is also given by Freud only. Emphasis of alpha role in therapeutic relationship. Emphasis of alpha role, right? And scientific approach to mental health and continuum from physical health. Of course, in spite of all these merits, there are some limitations of Freud work. Pessimistic and deterministic approach to personality. Pessimistic and deterministic approach to personality. Pathology based theory. No controlled studies, poor research, unconcern with interpersonal relations, individual identity, and adaptation over one's lifetime. The biggest drawback of theory is that it is based upon theoretical concept. It does not give a total picture of behavior emerging from the personality. The theory is not very relevant from the behavior point of view. Okay, right. Mm, okay. With this, I conclude the class, and in the next class we'll see different and theories given by other eminent psychologists. Till then, bye. Thank you for listening that class patiently.